Hi, and welcome to our audiobook series brought to you by Burgapoly Publishing. Let the journey begin. Today we are presenting
Chapter 19, Unlikely Rescue. They stepped outside, and the sounds of the battle rumbled through the air. A shadow moved over them. Instinct took hold. Their bodies tensed, ready to run. A shuttle dropped down just beyond the tree line. For a moment, uncertainty changed to recognition. The man who had abandoned them sat in the driver's seat, his face unreadable. "Come on, get in." His voice was different this time, less assured, less cold. Tom's fist clenched. "Is this some kind of trick?" The man exhaled, impatience creeping into his voice. "Do you want to ride or not?" A moment passed until they silently agreed and then moved forward. The side door swung open, the threshold between past betrayal and uncertain survival. As they climbed in, the man's voice turned sharp again. "Don't try anything. If we crash, we all die." No one doubted he meant it. They buckled in. The shuttle lifted, slipping above the trees. Below them, smoke curled toward the sky from the school. John turned his gaze to their reluctant rescuer. "What changed your mind?" The man's expression flickered. Then he gave a short, tired exhale. "Guess I'm going soft in my old age." Valerie's voice carried the weight of what they had left behind. "What are those things? The ones shooting at the people?" John's jaw tightened. The inevitable had arrived. This must be the invasion. Scott's gaze was distant, his mind assembling the pieces. If the drones were the first wave, then these are the second. No one spoke after that, because now there were no more illusions left. The shuttle lurched, banking hard as the pilot gripped the controls with unwavering focus. "You ready?" His voice was sharp, cutting through the tense air. "It might get a little hairy getting out of here." Tom peered out the window, watching the blur of trees whip past. "Where are we going?" The man's reply was flat, final. "First chance I get, I'm dropping you off. After that, you're on your own." Valerie exhaled, steady but sincere. "We appreciate you coming back for us." The man let out a short, humorless chuckle. "Don't thank me yet." The shuttle jerked sideways, weaving through the thick forest canopy. Branches and treetops blurred past the windows as he kept the craft dangerously low. "Right now, I need to concentrate on getting us out of here. I'm flying as low as possible to avoid any Clemillian cruisers that might be backing up their ground attack." John stiffened. He leaned toward Scott. "Ever heard of Clemillians?" Before Scott could answer, the pilot cut in, voice raised over the roar of the engines. "Clemillians are a super race, like humans, but lizard-based." The shuttle swerved violently, narrowly avoiding a jagged outcrop of rock. "We tried warning the authorities, kept spotting their ships on deep-range scans. No one believed us." His knuckles whitened on the controls. "Guess what? Here they are." Then, a shift, a new threat. "Hang on, we have company up ahead." The shuttle pitched upward. Gravity pressed them deep into their seats as the craft went almost vertical. From the ground, streaks of plasma fire cut through the sky, narrowly missing them. John's heart slammed against his ribs. Scott suddenly pointed. "There's something over there." The pilot followed his gaze and cursed. A cruiser, Clemillian design. For a moment it hovered, motionless, its form cutting against the twilight sky. Then it turned, facing them. The shape was sleek, unnatural, and eerily organic despite its size. No tail, just wings, long, flat, efficient. It belonged both to the atmosphere and the void beyond. The pilot's hands moved fast, a breath away from panic. "Hang on!" The shuttle dropped, a sheer nosedive. The ground rushed toward them at an impossible speed. Shouts filled the cabin, fear, exhilaration, the sheer chaos of survival. Then, a violent pull. The shuttle leveled out, barely skimming the ground before the pilot sent them into a tight, evasive maneuver, dodging thick trees at reckless speed. "I'd rather take my chances with the troops on the ground than face that cruiser," he growled. His jaw tightened. One blast from that thing, and we wouldn't even know what hit us. The shuttle sped through the trees, low and erratic. The cruiser loomed behind them, waiting, watching. It did nothing. The man exhaled, voice low. Let's hope they think we're not worth following. John exhaled, trying to steady his pulse. The past few minutes had been a blur of movement and near disaster. His voice was rougher than he intended. Is everyone okay? A silent moment stretched across the cabin. Faces pale, eyes wide. Fear still lingered in the air like smoke after an explosion. John shifted and felt a sharp twinge of pain in his arm. He glanced down. Chi's fingers were locked around his forearm, her knuckles bone white. She followed his gaze. Then, realization. Her grip loosened immediately, her face coloring. Sorry. John rubbed his arm, forcing a smirk. It's okay. The moment was brief, but enough to remind them they were still here. Still breathing, still moving. Tom pointed ahead, urgent, hopeful. Hey, is that the wall up ahead? John and the others turned their eyes forward. A dark, imposing structure stretched into the distance. The pilot nodded. Yeah, the school isn't too far from it. He adjusted the controls, banking them left. Now, if we can get past it, I think we'll be all right. Valerie leaned forward. Doesn't the wall have weapons to stop dinosaurs from crossing? The man didn't hesitate. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Normally, a vehicle transmits a signal to the wall so it can cross without being fired on. His fingers tapped the dashboard, waiting for a response. Silence. He tried again. Nothing. His jaw tightened. No response. Tom's breath hitched. What does that mean? The man didn't look at him. It means we might not make it too far across that wall. He cursed under his breath. Oh, great. That's all we need. What? Their voices rose in unison. The man's eyes flickered to the screen on his dashboard. We've picked up 2 drones on our tail. John felt the air shift. Fear turned into something else. Hunted. The pilot's hands tightened on the controls. Brace yourselves, I have an idea. The shuttle tilted down, nosediving toward the ground. The moment stretched thin, gravity pressing against their bodies. He suddenly pulled up. The shuttle snapped back into the air, banking hard. The drones stayed with them. Fast, efficient, relentless. The pilot's voice was low, almost to himself. I sure hope this works. They shot past the wall. There was an impact behind them. A jolt from behind. A shock wave rippled through the cabin. What just happened? John shouted, his head snapping toward the window. The pilot's grin was wild, triumphant. It worked! His fist punched the air. I wasn't sure if it would, but I got the drones to follow us across. A breath, a pause. And the wall guns took them out? For a moment, no one spoke. Then understanding settled in. Tom leaned forward. So, we're clear? The pilot nodded. Yeah, and better yet, I don't think the Clemillians care about what happens on this side of the wall. A silence lingered. Then Tom, slow, cautious. That's a good thing, right? The man let out a dry chuckle. You're damn right it is. He adjusted course, his eyes narrowing toward the open landscape ahead. I've got some old friends I want to check in on. If anyone knows what's really going on, it's them. His fingers tapped a few controls. I tried reaching them earlier, but there was no response. A shadow passed over his expression. Maybe communications are down. Or maybe something worse had already happened. No one dared to say it out loud. The shuttle pressed forward, leaving the wall and the burning city behind. Tom leaned over to John, his voice low but sharp with recognition. Does that look familiar? John followed his gaze out the window. The landscape below was scarred, debris scattered across the ground like the remnants of something violent and recent. His chest tightened. It did look familiar. Yeah, it does. The pilot grunted, adjusting course as the shuttle began its descent. No wonder nobody answered my calls. His voice was rough, unreadable. This place is a mess. Wonder if anyone's still down there. His hands hovered over the controls, preparing to land. John's jaw tensed. You won't have to waste your time doing that, he said, voice somber. The man glanced back, frowning. Why's that? Before John could speak, Tom cut in. Because we were here yesterday. A pause, a shift in the air. The pilot turned to them fully, eyes narrowing. What were you doing out here? Your friends are kidnappers. And since they're your friends, that makes you one too, Valerie said, cold and unforgiving. The accusation hung in the air like a blade. The pilot's brow furrowed. Wait, what? You're saying they kidnapped you? Valerie's stare didn't waver. Don't act so surprised. Tom crossed his arms. You were probably planning to drop us off here, collect some ransom, and leave. Something shifted in the pilot's expression. You know, come to think of it, he murmured, gaze turning inward. Dmitri did mention they were in a new line of work that paid really well, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. Valerie scoffed. Yeah, right. No, I never knew what they were doing, the man insisted, his brows knitted together, a frown pulling at the corners of his mouth. They probably didn't tell me because they knew I wouldn't stand for it. Valerie's eyes narrowed. And you expect us to believe that? Tom's voice was low, edged with suspicion. You handled that shuttle pretty well under pressure, almost like someone used to doing dirty work. Before the tension could ignite further, Chi stepped in. Her voice was calm, measured, but firm. Let the man talk. He might be telling the truth. She glanced around. He did save our lives, after all. A long silence. The pilot exhaled, shaking his head. Look, I take side jobs sometimes, but I'm no kidnapper. He spat the last word like it was poison in his mouth. Then something else. A hesitation. Actually, the place I'm heading now... He trailed off. John caught it. Go on. The man shifted, gripping the controls tightly. It's where we keep a ship. Where we make deliveries. Valerie's voice was ice. You mean deliver kids? The man let out a short, amused huff, glancing back over his shoulder. Hey, I have an idea. His voice was too casual, too sharp. Why don't I just take you back to the school? He paused, letting the words sink in. I'm sure the Clemillians are in charge now. Let's see how far you get with them. John's expression darkened. That won't be necessary. Tom shifted, his jaw tightening. What if he's like those other guys? John exhaled. Probably, but right now, we don't have a choice. He didn't have to say it. They had seen what happened to those who stayed behind. Tom's hands curled into fists. All right, but I don't like it. The man chuckled, turning back to the controls. Might as well relax. We're flying further into the jungle. It'll take a while. The cabin fell into uneasy silence. Valerie leaned closer to Tom, her voice a whisper. I have a feeling he might be telling the truth. The man snorted. Of course I am, sweetheart. He shot a glance over his shoulder, smirking. But if you're that worried, I can leave you all here. No one responded. They circled the abandoned camp, the sight of it pulling a heaviness into the air. The burned-out structures, the silence, a graveyard of a life stolen from them. Then they veered north, over the trees. The conversation was light, strained, too much uncertainty. The jungle was vast, suffocating in its mystery. It stretched out below them, endless, untamed. The thick canopy swallowed the land, broken only by clearing scars, winding rivers, and the glimmer of isolated lakes.
Thanks for listening to another chapter of Into the 6th Millennium, The Invasion of Zephro. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future audiobooks. You'll find links below to get the book, explore more titles from the series, and grab official merch. We've also included some affiliate links to the tools we use to bring this project to life.